Hello everyone, welcome to another sew along. We are making the Lowland women's joggers today. We are just going to start off by grabbing the front pants piece and facing them wrong sides towards us, just like you see me do here. Once we have those two pieces just facing us, we're going to add our front pocket pieces. So we're going to grab the pieces that says front pocket from the pattern, and we're just going to put them wrong sides to wrong sides. So if you have a print, that print should be facing you, just should be looking straight at you when you put it on to the like when you line it up. I'm sorry, I can't talk. When you line it up, so you're just gonna line it up like you see me do here. And once we line that up, it is time to do the binding. So I like to clip it here just to keep things together, and then I move on to the binding. Alright, so we're just gonna grab our binding piece, and it should look like this. We're just gonna line that up with the front of the pocket, of that slanted pocket, and you can either clip it or pin it, however you prefer, and you just serge it on right sides to right sides. And once you do that, you're just gonna flip it over to top stitch that binding piece. And you're gonna see me do that right over here, just serging it on. And just take your time. Don't stretch too much, but just stretch enough. And you're gonna do this to both of the pocket pieces. So once you're done with this one, you're gonna move on to your other pants piece and do the same exact thing. Okay, now we move on to placing the back piece of the pocket to that front piece that we put on already. So you're just gonna put them right sides to right sides this time, and you're gonna sew from that very top onto the side. And I'll show you in just a moment where exactly at. So this is where you're gonna sew. You're gonna sew from there all the way down to the side. So our pieces should look like this now, and we are just going to put them right sides together and sew them right in the middle. Just right there. And we will do the same to the back as well. And we're just going to add our back piece now, the long strip, and we're just going to serge or sew that on. Now we will place them right sides together, and we are going to close down our pants. Okay, so our pants should look like this now. They're pockets. Now what we're gonna do is we can go ahead and add our cuffs. I will do that last, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the waistband because I think this is where people need more help with the pattern. And so I'm going to try to explain it as detailed as I can. But I'm only human, so I'm sorry if I miss anything. You can go ahead and ask in the comments, and I will try to answer as much as I can. So here is our waistband piece. There is two ways to do the waistband. There is a casing way, and then there is one where you will put in the elastic in and serge it in together, which I have trouble with for some reason. So I prefer the casing way, and that's the way I'm going to do now. I've tried the other way and I just can't seem to get it perfect every time, specifically because my elastic is very rough, it's very hard, and here is the kind of elastic I'm going to be using today. This is a 3-inch knit elastic. It is from Joann's and it's the Dritz brand, I believe. And so I'm just gonna cut my elastic to measurements, and I can't remember the measurement, so I'm gonna have to go back and look. Oh, it's 36 inches, yes. 36 inches. I am doing a size large today. So I am just gonna kind of, with my elastic, and especially if it's like a harder, tougher elastic like this, I like to stretch my elastic as much as I can before I cut it, just so that it's easier to work with. So I'm just doing that right over here. And we are going to just put our waistband like this. So it's a long strip. So it's on the fold here, but on the raw edges, we're just going to sew down here. And I'm gonna go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have our waistband sewed at the end. And I did forget to mention that if you are doing the casing method, if you're gonna just encase your elastic versus the other way, it does say in the instructions to add 1/2 inch like wider to your waistband piece than what the pattern calls for. So I already did that when I cut it. I cut 1/2 inch more. And so what I'm gonna do now is just quarter my waistband. And what you see me do here is just clipping like those pockets like just straight, so everything's nice and neat for when I do add the waistband. It's not everything just moving around. I like to do that just because. And so now we are going to attach our waistband. We're just going to serge it on as you would any other waistband, and you're just going to leave like a 3-inch gap or so to thread in your elastic. And you just want to go as slow as you can. Just take it easy and just fix everything as you go. You don't want to pull on the waistband because it should fit perfectly without needing to pull or anything. You are going to want to go slow around the binding pieces when it gets to the pockets, because your serger or machine can seem to have a rough time around that part. But just take it slow and make sure to remove all the pins. And once you get back to almost where you started, just remember to leave that 3-inch or 2-inch gap to thread in your elastic. Now it's time to thread in our elastic. Just where we left that little opening, we're just going to grab a safety pin thing and just grab our elastic and thread it straight through, and making sure we don't bunch up that elastic as much. We don't want it to roll, and then when it's time to shut it down, to shut it off, it's all rolled and we have to reopen and fix it. So we just want to go in and just go slow and fix it as you go. Once we get to the other opening side, we're gonna attach both elastic pieces. For the sake of the video, I am just gonna serge it on. I usually do a zigzag stitch, but just for the sake of the video, I am just serging that piece. Okay, so this is a little opening we have, and before fixing this part, I like to keep it as it is before like making it nice and straight, just because I like to kind of pinch it, just like you see me do here, and serge it closed, versus if I fix the elastic, I feel like I have a better chance of catching the elastic when I'm serging that opening shut. So I just like to do it this way, and it's just a little tip on my end, and then I go ahead and fix that elastic straight like it should. And you'll see me pulling up just like you see me do here. I feel like this helps me get that elastic nice and just straight everywhere instead of like bunching over. I just pull as much as I can and stretch that elastic as much as I can just to get it nice and neat all around. Like, I like to get it as even as possible all around, and it just helps when I'm top stitching as well. So just as you see me do here, just pull, stretch, and tug at it as much as you can just to get it as nice and straight. Okay, now it's time to top stitch. You can opt out of top stitching, but I feel like the top stitching makes it look nice and professional, and so I like the 1 needle option instead of the 2 needle for my cover stitch when I'm top stitching this kind of a waistband, just because I feel like it looks neater for some reason. But I didn't do that this time, and I just went with my 2 needle, and you're just going to have to pull both ends, the back and front, and make it all nice and even while you are top stitching so that your threads don't look all wonky. So just as you see me do here, just stretch and pull front and back and as even as possible. After we finish our waistband, we are just moving on to the cuffs now, which is the last part of our pants. And once we do that, we are basically done with our sew along, and you will see how it turns out in just a minute. But I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. I know the waistband can be a bit complicated. Like I said, I prefer the casing method versus the other method, but you can do whatever you prefer. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. And now we will see the final results of the pants. Alright, so we are officially done with our pants, and I hope you've enjoyed this sew along. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.